Okay, what's the Konami cheat code?
Up, up, down, down. Oh yeah, that would be great. That'd be
No,
awesome.
no. But here's the thing, though. Every beer is one of the sequences, so you
Oh,
get one.
perfect.
You get the entire can. So one beer is just called Up,
Yeah.
and then I guess another beer is called also Up. Okay, so you have to have two of that one. So that's fine.
Adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming. It's a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives.
My name is Trevor, and I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 13-year-old and a 10-year-old.
It's a show that tries to focus on showing that just because you became a dad,
Does not mean it's game over.
and with that, we've been trying real hard for so many episodes to do so. We are now at episode 297, and with 300 coming up, we decided to do something special, a celebration, a thank you for all of the great dads that have written in, that listened to us, that have suggested beers and games and everything else in between. And just to mark the momentous occasion, we are doing a special episode 300 giveaway. Specifically, what we're going to be doing is we're going to give away Baldur's Gate 3. We're going to choose one lucky entry from everybody who enters in, completely free. We will ship it to you or get your code, however means, but we are giving away Baldur's Gate 3 recognition of episode 300. All the details are going to be on our Twitter. Find us on Twitter at New Dad Gaming. We'll have a pinned tweet that explains it, but specifically what we're looking to do is there will be a giveaway thread on our Twitter that, again, they'll have the rules on it, but find that thread. All you have to do to enter is like it, retweet it / repost it, and most importantly, what we'd like you to do is to take a photo of you watching the show. So find an episode, the latest one, whichever one you like. Take a screenshot of you watching the show, and then post a reply to that giveaway thread on Twitter. So once again, go to Twitter, find our Twitter page at New Dad Gaming. There'll be a pinned thread with this giveaway. Take a photo of you listening to the episode, post it inside the replies, like and retweet / repost that thread. And that's it. You're entered. For episode 300, we'll announce the winner after contacting them. And unless, of course, it takes a bit of time, in case you're new dad vacationing, whatever else. But on the show, we will announce it. And again, just as recognition for it, really excited to give it away. You nervous about getting 300, Jeff? You feeling old?
I am feeling old. Like, this really dates us. Like, that's a lot of years that we've been doing this. So
the best part is that we timed it with my first. So it's like, how old are you? Well, it's like, okay, well, my first is...
That's what I live for. You're aging your kids with the show. So we just we've been here for 8
years.
Yeah.
So everybody, thanks for listening. Again, check us out on Twitter. Find the giveaway at New Dad Gaming. Cannot wait to get this started. Really excited to have this awesome giveaway. Now, what a great thing to talk about. What a great segue. Baldur's Gate 3, taking the world by storm. It is so much positivity. It is the highest reviewed video game of all time, and not just a highly reviewed game, the highest reviewed game of all time, and I don't think I can ever play it. I don't know how you're feeling. What's your reaction to the game, to the response, and just to the magnitude of what this game represents for a gaming dad?
I think you said it right there with the magnitude, because it does look a little bit overwhelming. For the amount of stuff that you can do in this game, and just like the breadth of the content that's available. And the developer Larian Studios, who's done Divinity Original Sin, I've played both of those, and the content is just never ending. Like, it's all good content. You're allowed to do pretty much anything, but Baldur's Gate 3 just seems to continue that trend and offer even more. So how am I supposed to do this as a gaming dad? Are we supposed to take vacation and maybe, do at least eat away at this game, chip away at it so we can see the ending, or, give it a shot and then drop it and come back? I don't know.
Does this game even have an end? Like, is it Diablo 4 like in that it's a season, or is it very much you play, you beat it, like Good job.
I think there's an end. I think there's a story end that happens, and then you usually just like re-roll your character and go through again, doing a whole bunch of different choices, and then like you see things that you didn't your first run.
Okay, so it's a big game with a huge amount of replayability.
Yeah, that's totally for us, right?
Oh yeah, just like we're gonna play this. Just gonna play this one nonstop. I have longingly looked afar at like Dungeons and Dragons, and even this type of game. Darn, what was the one? Pillars of Eternity. I dipped into a bit and just loved it. And one of the worst parts about it is the entire time playing, I'm like, if only I was younger. If only this game came up when I didn't have such life responsibilities. But at the same time, so there is this mixed emotion around it. Because on the one side, I'm so happy that this thing exists. I'm so happy to see a smaller-ish studio succeed so wildly and receive this kind of acclaim. And just that this thing exists. But it's tempered with this realization I don't think I can ever actually play it.
I'm there with you, because it's one of those things where like I'm having a little bit of FOMO. Like, I kind of want to dive into this. Everybody's talking about it. It's the brand new thing, right? And that's why we're giving it away. And it's one of those things that I do want to experience. I just don't know at what point. And if Divinity Original Sin is any example for me, I am horrible with choices and decision making. Like it'll present you with a whole bunch of options, just even the dialogues and creating your characters and all that stuff. And I'm horrible at it. I'm like, it's a blank canvas, and you have that blank canvas syndrome. You're like, well, what do I do? What do I want to look like? Do I want to paint myself into a corner and be this person for the entire game, or no? And then like I hear about people re-rolling all the time. I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. That's another choice.
That's restart. Like I recall, like I was trying to catch some Twitch streamers playing it, and I was going through the replays of it, not live. Yeah. And it's like, oh, okay, well, they're just building their character. I'll just skip ahead an hour and see where they got to.
Still there?
At that point, they're just like tweaking the mustache.
Yeah,
they hadn't even begun the game yet.
Yeah,
it's like, man, that's just the beginning of it. They have not. They are just choosing what the guy looks like, let alone any of the play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, for a lot of these games, when I do decide and make those little choices and stuff, I play as like myself as like a father. like,
oh my word.
Do you mean like
it's role play, Jeff? Your day to day is dad's. This is your escape, dude.
I understand. Like my character doesn't have any kids, so like the character is the fantasy to me. But like when I'm again posed with those decisions, I'm not doing the chaotic evil stuff. I'm being the good person. I'm being like, I will save the person, from a untimely death. I'm not gonna let them die. Like I want to see them again. That's great.
All right, so that's slightly different from where I thought you were going with it, which is thankful. I thought it was like, Jeff, what's the name of your character? My character's name is Geoff.
Geoff's a granddad.
He has 3 kids. That's my role playing. Imagine if I had another one.
The fantasy is that he has all the time in the world to take on these quests.
Yeah, he can go to the store without being pestered by his 3 encumbered kids.
That's right. Encumbered. No. I'm over encumbered. Yeah.
Over encumbered with kids. See, I'll say that the one challenge I've often had with morality systems is it's just ludicrously black and white. Where there's not a lot of nuance to it, or where you can kind of make some wiggle room decisions. It's more about, would you like, this poor old woman approaches you on the street, would you like to give her a loaf of bread? Or would you like to punch her in the face? It's like, why would I just punch a 1? It's like, well, if you want to be evil, you got to punch that grandma.
Yeah,
I guess that's sort of a hard turn just to be evil.
It is, and sometimes the dialogue options don't match what the character ends up doing, so you like just dismiss the old lady, and like, I don't know, your character will trip them or something. You're like, no, that's not what I wanted to do.
Give a backhand. It's like, well, that is a dismiss, but come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's intense. I don't know. I look at this game from way back here, like you are. I'm like, I do want to jump in at one point. I do want to experience it, but it'll be a lot.
Do you think your kids would be into it? Would this be one that you could experience with your kids?
I think definitely they'd be, and I think my oldest is getting into this kind of stuff where it's a little bit more of a deeper game. Your choices make, the world good or bad, and they affect the gameplay. I think he's starting to get into that, which is good to see. Like, that's a little bit more of a sophisticated game over what he's used to. So definitely, yeah, he'll be into it.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious of it as a bonding experience. Although
or not if like we play together and he's off doing all this other random stuff and throwing that old lady off a cliff, like maybe it'll be a problem. I don't know.
Punch the grandma, Dad. No, I raised you better than this. Punch the grandma, Dad.
Exactly, yeah. Test.
If anything, it'd just be the time sink. It's like, do you want to play with your kid for 80 plus hours for the first playthrough?
That's true. School's coming up too. Be like, no homework. We got homework in this world where we need to go to Baldur's Gate. So come on.
Okay, I'm taking off 2 weeks from work. You're gonna take 2 weeks off from school. We're gonna power through, get these guys ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if any gaming dads have dipped into this one, besides entering to win it in our contest, reach out to us. Let us know how the playthrough's going and if you've managed it at newdadgaming.com. Now, you mentioned your kid getting into kind of larger, grander scale gaming, and Baldur's Gate is actually based upon fairly, I don't know, rigorously is not the right word, but closely tied to Dungeons and Dragons. And it would seem that you've started to, what's right? You've rolled an 8. it's your move. It's your move turn, and you've moved 6 towards playing some D&D with your family.
Yeah, that's right. My 13-year-old decided, out of their own kind of volition, they came up in one of the bookstores and they had in their hands a D&D Essentials kit. And I've mentioned this on our Twitter a long time ago, where we were looking at trying to jump in and, what's the best way, because it is quite overwhelming, just the game itself. We were talking about Baldur's Gate being overwhelming. Dungeons and Dragons is very much like, where do I begin? And yeah, they have starter kits and essential kits and scenario kits. So we kind of researched a little bit more, and he ended up buying the essential kit and brought it home, was all excited, paid with his own money and his gift cards.
Wow.
Unpacked it all. And then you could see the look, like the eyes kind of glaze over a little bit. And like, he's really interested in doing it. He really just wants to jump in. But I'm like, no, you have to read this whole scenario book so you understand, not even the whole thing, but like the first little bit so you know where the story's going. Because you're kind of crafting this. You are the storyteller. You're the DM, right? Mm-hmm. So he understands like the role that he has to play, and he wants to lead it. But I'm like, well, I can't help you in the scenario book. Otherwise, I know the story, and I will make choices that are a little bit biased. Like, I already know what's going to happen, right? And I don't want to do that. We need to start as this is a true game, right? Mm-hmm. But you could tell, like, as a 13-year-old with ADHD, like, he was interested in this thing, but he doesn't want to like learn it all at once. He wants to just like let's wing it, let's go. I'm like, well, there's this second book, it's all the rules. Like, oh my lord. And there's a character class creation, like you have to understand all this stuff, right? Wow. And then I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm trying to read the rule book, and he has to read the scenario book and the rule book. And then he's asking me questions. I'm like, okay, so this is my one and only time when I'll say, go watch some YouTube videos. Because like, Daddy doesn't know. Daddy's trying to find out on YouTube how to play this game as well. And we're kind of starting from beginning, both of us, which is good. I think like bonding experience and stuff, but it is a lot, man. I don't have this kind of time anymore. And like we were talking about, again, time for a video game of this nature. I have to do my own homework to try and figure out how to do this. And I think once you get going, it's not that difficult, but I don't know, jumping into something new, I don't know how you feel, but like, it's just like, it can be a lot when you have a lot going on in your life.
I've had such much like Baldur's Gate, like it's always adoration from afar, where I listen to podcasts, it's like Critical Role, Dungeons and Daddies, I've mentioned a few times here, which for gaming dads is just, now that you're getting into this, Jeff, you need to subscribe to Dungeon and Daddies.
I think I do.
It is absolutely hilarious. Like four like legitimate actors and a seasoned D&D dungeon master role play as 4 dads lost their kids in the Forgotten Realms. You have to go save them. It's just like, it's so zany and stupid and fun. Especially now in this context, you're especially going to get it.
Yeah.
So this is the type of stuff I listen to. I'm right here into it. My largest problem has just been, again, much like Baldur's Gate, it's just time, commitment, everything else. So I am like crazy excited to hear about if you can like get the family in and get your kids started on it and like just have kind of family games. Like that is amazing. yeah, I'm just like it. I would be. I suppose I have some familiarity in it that I feel like I'd have a kind of a shorter jump to it. I do wonder if there's something in between. So the one bit of D&D that I was able to dip into was with Demian, which was the VR version, which is a very simplified version of it. There's like 4 scenarios. There's not a lot of storytelling. It's just playing. I think, for instance, you could look into, I think, Gloomhaven, which is a tabletop RPG. There's not so much of like the story nuance to it. It's more just situational. You are 6 away from here. Roll this to try to attack them. So because I think one of the strengths and weaknesses of Dungeons and Dragons is the narrative, like the storytelling elements. Like, I'm going to try to convince him by doing this, and then that dungeon master has to be like, "That's a stupid idea."
Yeah, exactly.
That's not how this would work.
Yeah, so we have dipped into Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, which is kind of like a mini version of Gloomhaven, and the kids kind of like doing that. But again, it was very scenario story driven. Everything's spelled out for you, and you just go through the scenario, right? With my 13-year-old, I'm either going to get, what did you do at school? Nothing. And that goes into D&D, right? Like you want to sneak by a castle and you're like, nothing happens. Or I get the other end of the spectrum where it's super detailed Minecraft, all these like stats about what everything does, blah, blah, blah. And that's in D&D where I snuck past the castle, but there was an ant that crawled up your leg, and the ant was a red ant that was from South America, and these specific, do you know what I mean? Like that, like Tolkien kind of description, 3 pages long thing. So I'm very interested in where it can go. And I mentioned on the show again, my 13-year-old created their own game, right? And they kind of have that narrative, but where does it go? Where's the happy medium? Because he wants everyone to kind of fail, right?
Yeah.
It's more about the challenge and stuff. Like, no, you have to make it fun and string people along. Like, nobody wants to just die and restart.
Is he dead set on being the DM? Like, would this be a scenario where you perhaps for the first game could be DM and kind of lead them through to say, like, this is sort of how it's done?
I think I will, because I kind of mentioned that, like, let me take scenario 1, at least that I get to learn it as well. And then I can kind of craft the way I think it can run and be a little bit descriptive, and then allow people to survive the first tutorial kind of area. And then he can take over, because it is his, he bought it, and I think he really wants to own it. So I don't want to take that away from him, but I do want to guide, like you said. I want to guide the DM into a good DM.
It just feels like going from never playing it into being the DM that's a heck of a jump for anybody. And at least, again, you have some foundation in some of like the gaming mechanics, if you would, that you might be able to better lead him.
Yeah, I'm hoping. And again, I'll report back, and maybe this is a huge success and a gateway into other things, or maybe it's just we critical failed the roll and we didn't pass the check.
Let's just play Baldur's Gate 3, son. Forget it.
That's right. Yeah, let's just go in here and we'll learn from this game. Maybe that's how I sell it, right? We just buy it as like, hey, this is research. This is homework for what you want to do.
So one thing I've been very interested in, so as I mentioned, like I've so badly wanted to play, but just can't. Yeah. I've never been able to like connect the dots to get it to happen, right? So what I have heard of was a website called Roll20. So roll20.net. And with it, you can just play a game. And so there's just a whole bunch of groups you'll connect, I guess, digitally. I think there is also a software component that you can use. There's various like software ones where you can all be on the same board and kind of seeing the same thing and chatting. As best as I understand, like, there's a whole bunch of... So there's something called like one-shots, where it's like, okay, we're going to get in, we're going to play for 3 hours, and that's it. Like, we're just like going to introduce each other, play, get out.
Wow. Okay.
There is like, no, we're going to play once a week. Like, we're going to work together and build a narrative for the next like 4 months to 18 years, however long it's going to last, right?
Yeah.
So as best I've seen, that it's an opportunity for dads, I think, if you're able to carve out some decent time. Unfortunately, like, you still have the dad risk where kid wakes up in the middle of the night, you got to go do your duties. But
yeah,
at very least, it seems like a way to start to dip into it. So if you can't gather together some like group of 12 six people to make it happen. Have you ever thought to, and some of this, by the way, I should mention, some of it like you pay for like better DMs who kind of know what they're doing. You can pay up front I honestly kind of like that as far as like pay. Okay, I'm gonna for a 3-hour experience, I'll pay some degree of money to know that hopefully I'm getting like a good experience. Have you ever thought about dipping into like a gaming thing like this just so you could give it a shot?
Yeah, I'm interested in just having it kind of help you through, right? So if it was something that kind of set things up and kept track of things and I can get a feel for it, great. And even having that layer of you could pay for a DM just to kind of, again, experience it. Again, I've watched YouTube videos, blah, 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 but it's not the same as when you're kind of in it, making those decisions and kind of feeding off what the DM is trying to do. So those are interesting things that I'll take a look at. I've tried to, there's, again, very overwhelming. There's lots of like tools and stuff to look at, but this Roll20 kind of seems like a good starting point, at least just to look. And again, any listeners that have other resources, let us know or let me know on our Twitter, and I can look into it, because it's right now we're just going in blind. It's just one of those things that we'll figure out, and hopefully we play correctly. I don't know. There's no one there really like checking up on you, so we'll see.
You need a resident D&D head just to like. Well, actually, no. You need to write. That's a D4, you fool! Like it's just like
you're diseased. You can't move that amount.
God.
You have to fail. Yeah, exactly.
It's a saving throw. God, how many times do we have to go through this? Oh, that is just phenomenal. So this type of game, hey, gaming dads, if you have any experience with this, if you have some resources for Jeff on how to get him and his kids started, if you want to play with us sometimes, we're always open to hop into a game. Reach out to us at newdadgaming.com. Now, a perfect place for this type of gaming to take place is when you were young and you had the overnight sleepovers. So the pizza is hot, the Coke is cold, or the Mountain Dew is cold.
Yeah.
It's 12 p.m. or 12 in the morning, and your parents think you're asleep, and you're just rolling dice or playing games. It sounds like I don't know if that was your kid's experience, but they did at least have a sleepover / LAN party, which I love saying those words because that's not something we get to say very often. What happened? We had a coming of age moment.
Yeah, one of his friends got back and said, "Hey, I want to celebrate your birthday." They missed out; they were on vacation. So, how about you come over? Bring your laptop. I have a couple other friends coming. They're bringing their laptops, and we'll have a sleepover LAN party. And I don't know if they said LAN party. That's probably like an old word where we have to like hook up all the computers together. But everyone brought their computers. They stayed up playing. Okay, so this is my 13-year-old, right? So they all played Phasmophobia.
Oh boy. Okay.
Which, to me, 13, yeah, you're probably testing the limits. I think I was into Quake 2 and like other spooky stuff.
It's that one's fine. Like if you said GTA 5 or 6, it's like maybe. That's more just like, all right, well, you guys might not sleep, but
yeah. And well, on that note, they did not. So they stayed up until 4 a.m. 4 a.m. These 13-year-olds playing Phasmophobia. I think Age of Empires 2,
nice,
Minecraft, and some Roblox were thrown in there. But Phasmophobia, they were all playing on a team and they were ghost hunting or whatever, getting in the house and out, whatever. But until 4 a.m. because I'm checking up but not checking up. But I have like the family safety app that Microsoft puts out, and I can see how much time he puts into it. And I'm like, okay, he at 4 a.m. He got off it, and then they woke up again at 6:30 a.m. So they had a power nap, and they played more until I went to pick them up, where they were sound asleep again. So
2 hours of sleep. Wow, that is classic. That is fantastic.
Yeah, and so it's like a true sleepover gaming party, because I remember doing those things, and as long as you're not inflicting your crabbiness on the family when you get back home, you just like take it as is. The next day they slept in quite a bit. I think is until like noon. So
yeah,
it was one of those good, I don't know, it was a good gaming dad win. It was one of those, like, again, like you said, coming of age where, go over with the chips, the pop, the laptops, and you just stay up all night and game with your friends, which to me sounds amazing. Like, again, we talk about how we're older and we're like, we don't have time for that. But those are the days that I remember of like, that was awesome. That was gaming. I remember staying up all night playing GoldenEye, just split screens forever. So
that's the best. That is a huge gaming dad win. I think that's to relive that particular moment, and it's again like on paper from everything we're trying to do right now as parents, it's like, okay, limit sugar, gone. Okay, get good rest, gone. Limit screen time, gone. Like it's just out the window.
Yeah.
But in the most perfect fashion possible. It's just like on these kind of rare occasions, get together with some buddies. It's greasy, it's grimy. You wake up feeling terrible, but man, if you think about the excitement you and I have had reflecting upon when we did that exact same thing, and the core memory that you've just been planted for your kid is like chef kiss. That is so amazing.
Yeah. It did make their little sibling jealous.
Oh,
so my 10-year-old was
course.
like asking questions, trying to be like kind and stuff, but the 13-year-old was like, "You're the best ever. We did this. We stayed up so late." And of course, you could just see the 10-year-old's eyes. It's like, "Oh, I want this too." But yeah, no. Again, core memory for sure. I hope that they do it again sometime. But school's coming up too. This is very much a summer thing that was easy enough to coordinate. But yeah, man, like it's just one of those good gaming moments. I love it.
So happy. Okay, we're going to wrap up this show. We're going to do two things. We're going to do a bad game, and we're going to do a good game.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
So one is a game to watch out for, and then we'll end on the positive note, one to check out. So the bad game, Bloons TD6. We don't like to disparage games very often, but this one apparently is a keep on your radar to try to keep out of your household.
Yeah, my kids got me into this, or coordinated me to get this free off Epic Games Store to play with them. And oh my god, it's a tower defense game, but like to the chaotic degree where they have memorized all the stats of all these monkeys that they're trying to pop balloons as they go through these different maps. And oh my god, they want to play multiplayer with you, and it's just like you can't. It's just chaos on screen, and it gets worse and worse as every round goes by, and you have to gain and grind levels to be able to get certain things, and it's just. It's not it's not worth it in my mind, but they love it and they can play it without me. I don't want to spend my gaming time to do this.
We're watching somebody play it, and it just seems fast forwarded. But I don't think. But it's not. Like this is just the nonsense speed it plays.
You can fast forward once you have your towers in place because you need the cash from each balloon popped to buy the next monkey tower or whatever. So then you just fast forward the next thing until, again, it's just like one of those, it's not a clicker hero game, but I find it mind numbing. And some people might like it. I know a lot of YouTubers play it. So it's just one of those things that just keep an eye out for it. Understand what it is when it comes into your household. I think it'll be short lived, to be honest. It's very thin and shallow in my mind.
Yeah. Feels like there's better games for it, but
I think so.
But I mean, as in like better examples in the genre that have a bit more depth and interest. This seems a bit.
Yeah.
We never like to disparage any game necessarily, but just if you have a choice as a gaming dad for what they're going to be into, maybe try to avoid this one.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not going to yuck anybody's yum, but this is one that just.
Oh my lord!
Yuck anybody's
do your kids
yum.
groan when you say that nonsense?
Oh, they do. They do.
They better.
You have to have your own dad phrases. How are you going to install this trauma into them when they were like later on? They're like, "Oh my god, I'm turning into dad." Mine
is play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Okay.
So they'll do something. Man, what are they even? It's like they're jumping around, and then they'll like, they're jumping on a balloon, and then the balloon pops. Like,
right.
Oh no, it's like, yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. What did you think would happen? And now they don't like it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, the good game. So this is the game I'm going to recommend. So this is Punch a Bunch. Punch a Bunch. As mentioned on the show a number of times, like I adore boxing games. One of my favorite genres. There has not been a good boxing game in ages. There's a couple coming up, actually. There's a few that are, I think, even like early stage Steam release.
Okay.
So, and they look kind of promising, but they're kind of like, so far, middling reviews. This one is one developer. He put his whole development timeline it was very open development, so he's like working with the community, everything else. A lot of the clips you'll see, it's sort of Mike Tyson's boxing or Punch Out as far as like over the top silly boxing characters.
Yeah.
But that kind of actually it misrepresents like what actually kind of happens, because one of the fascinating things with this game is there are no attributes. There's no stats. Like you can't make your boxer more powerful.
Oh, okay.
Like you are who you are, and a lot of it is skill based, where based on how you lean and then which button you press, you're going to do like a hook, and then if you like lean into it, like it's got more power. So there is a lot of nuance and skill to this game. So
the Dark Souls of boxing.
it is the hardest boxing game to ever come out.
That's the clickbaity title we can put on this, right?
Yeah. But between that, though, like the hits feel fantastic. Like the move when you do like a dodge and come back around with a counter feels fantastic. And yeah, there's some of the over top silly arcade stuff, but just the actual boxing itself, especially against a normal opponent, is great. Nice. So it's got local co-op or like local multiplayer, so that's always fun. Like just a blast to like punch around with your kids on these type of games. So if you like me, I've been kind of waiting for a boxing game. This one fairly cheap. I think it's like $20. Good little thing to pick up. Just a single developer put it out there. So whet your appetite for a little while as we wait for the next big boxing title. Nice. Punch a bunch.
Punch a bunch.
Punch a bunch. All right.
That's your yum.
Yes, sir. Oh, don't yuck my yum with your garbage sentences, please. With that, everybody, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening. So once again, find us on Twitter at New Dad Gaming, because we will be launching this giveaway starting today. We're going to run it right through until our 300 episode launches. So find all the details on Twitter, how to enter, hoping for a whole bunch. Just like something fun to do for this momentous occasion. We are so grateful for being able to have recorded for this long and for all of your ears listening to the show. So check us out on Twitter at New Dad Gaming. For the show itself, if you did like what you listened to, find us on all the major podcasting networks where you can subscribe. You can find us on Spotify, Google Play, Apple iTunes, Caster, anywhere where you can get your podcasting. Just search for New Dad Gaming. If you did like the show, what we'd really like if you could please subscribe and also leave a review. A review really helps out the show, boosts the signal, lets everybody know, and tries to get our D&D group together. Informed.
That's right.
So we can have a bunch of gaming dads who will understand and see where it goes. So once again, thank you for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 8-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff, I rolled a D20, and I have a 13 and a 10-year-old.
Remember, everybody, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game